Dissauer is going to give us the 411 about this launch. It's all about to happen later on this morning. John, so what's so different about this launch than others we've seen in the last few years?
Well, this one is preparing for manned spaceflight, which NASA's not had since the space shuttle program was put away. But the other thing is, this is meant to go to first the moon and then eventually Mars.
So who and what is on board that is vital to this mission success?
So there is a mannequin. You'll like the name. Moonikin is the name of the mannequin.
Moonikin the mannequin, love it.
I've also seen that they put a stuffed Snoopy animal. That's what they're going to show as their proof of zero gravity.
Snoopy the animal, not Snoop Dogg, right? Correct? Yeah.
Not Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg is not sneaking his way on the spacecraft, I think. But yeah, Snoopy. There's a long history with NASA and Snoopy going back to the Apollo missions, where they'd oftentimes sneak Snoopy on there, and one of the actual aircraft was actually named Snoopy.
Oh, good grief! Look at the words of Charlie Brown. Well, does this mean we're going to be living on the moon here soon, John?
Wow. Cool.
So we're expecting, or at least the plan is, for somebody to be landing on the moon within the next probably 4 to 6 years. Now, there's one big problem with that idea, is NASA currently does not have an external spacesuit for people to wear. They've got to redesign it unless they want to use something from back in the early 80s. So yeah, so they're needing to go through and go through that process of designing a new spacesuit for astronauts. But the plan is to get a base on the moon.
So when does the mission end, and when can we expect a return of Artemis 1?
So yeah, so the spaceship, or the entire spacecraft itself, is called Artemis 1. The spacecraft itself that would be housing the humans on it, it's called Orion. It's launching this morning, 7:33. I think the window is from 7:33 to 9:33, in case there's a delay this morning. It's going to go on for 42 days. So it's not going to land back, splashing back in the Pacific Ocean on October 10th. But here's the crazy thing. Not only do they say it's 42 days, but they've got it down to the second. I wrote this down. It's 42 days, 3 hours and 20 minutes for it to come back and land. But we'll be actually circling the moon and orbiting the moon as close as 60 miles to as far away as 40,000 miles.
That's crazy. And GMA is going to have full coverage of the launch as well, coming up at 7:30 today, or whenever it actually eventually launches. I know there's been a couple just minor delays this morning already. So what other cool little tidbits? You've already given us a couple, John, that you can have to share about this launch.
Yeah, so some people are going to think this is just too much, but today's space launch is going to cost roughly a little over $4 billion. Now that is cheaper than what the Saturn V program was, that sent people to the moon with the Apollo missions back in the 60s and 70s, because that entire project then cost about $50 million just to get it going, and the launch was actually much less. This project, or this launch and the Artemis project, is using leftover space parts from the space shuttle mission. So the actual cost in the budget for it to get going is roughly, I think it's $22 billion, so it's about half the cost of what Apollo cost.
Oh, so
incredible.
Cool. All right, we're looking forward to this. Again, full coverage coming up at 7:30 today. Thank you for that little preview there, John. That was nice.